Varsity Club, welcome back to another classic. Leave a like in the video, subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Let's jump right back into the action. The season has ended and we're seeing the Miami Hurricanes have once again won a national title. It's been a long time. They ended up taking on LSU, as you can see there, and they beat them 47-28 pretty handily. But if you're starting to wonder, well, GGB, is Cascade Valley ranked at any point? Well, we're definitely not in the top 15, even though Michigan's somehow up in there. But if you keep on scrolling, we're not ranked. That being said, though, little consolation prize, we are one of the teams that is receiving votes, but not quite there. Maryland and Penn State are both ahead of us, but then we are ahead of Air Force and Indiana. Not the worst, but not the best either. Your Heisman winner as well is Mr. Tyler Goodson of Iowa University. 25 carries, 170 yards, 2 touchdowns in his final game, and he beat out Darrow Rd, Katoa, who literally fumbled the bag. He had it, and then they just stopped giving him the ball. 48 yards in his last game. Cameron Carroll and Kyron Williams as well. They had it up there, but they just fell short. From an All-American standpoint for the first team, you see Darrow Rd, Tyler Goodson again. You should expect those guys to be up there. But as you sort of go through and look for where our guys are, Landon Rawls isn't making the list as he should. He had 16 sacks this season. Man was absolutely on fire, as well as Antonio Magwood, the senior as well, who helped dominate on defense. Rounding out the rest of the side, we're going to have Philip Antonio, which blows my mind. Antonio was great, but I didn't think he'd be the corner that ended up making the first team All-American side. As we go to the second team here, you're not really seeing anybody on our team from offense, which kind of hurts me a little bit. We keep moving our way down, and no one on the second team made it from our team. Good news is, though, John McConnell ends up being the quarterback for the all-freshman team, as I would expect, because the kid was absolutely on fire this year. You keep moving down through this list, you can tell that, well, there's not really anybody else on our team that was a true freshman that got the playing time like that. We go to Conference USA. Asher O'Hara, the bane of our existence from Middle Tennessee State University. He's a senior, though, so he's graduating. He ends up taking the quarterback slot. Mr. Marvin Derwin, though, rightfully takes the top running back spot. We keep moving down. We're going to see Connor Wilson, our senior right guard, is going to make that spot be his #1 area. Landon Rawls, again, as he was an All-American, should get that pretty well as easy. Magwood, Chamberlain, and Philip Antonio are all going to round out the remaining picks for our team. As we check out the awards for the end of the season, Darrow Rd wins the Maxwell. The Walter Camp goes to Cameron Carroll. We're going to see the Bednarik go to Antonio Magwood again. Love seeing one of our guys get a major award like that. The Nagurski is going to go to Trevon Walker, but you see Landon Rawls take 4th. The O'Brien goes to Darrow Rd again, 51 total touchdowns, 4,000 pass yards, 400 rush yards. He had an incredible year. Move on to the Doak Walker. Cameron Carroll picks that up as well, a 2,000-yard rushing season with 22 touchdowns. If you want to see actually if our guy Derwin was anywhere on this list, the answer is no. Blitnikoff goes to Isaiah Hamilton, who had a monster year. For San Jose State, he had 137 receptions, 1,800 yards, and 25 touchdowns. That's incredible. The Mackey goes to Brevin Jordan out of Miami, which no one's really surprised by. You're going to see the Outland go to Kirkland out of Washington. Patterson from Notre Dame will take the Remington Award. The Lombardi is going to go to Trevon Walker as well, with Landon Rawls being right there in 4th place. The best linebacker goes to Mr. Magwood from our team as well. Thorpe goes to Stingley Jr. out of LSU. Again, you would expect that. The Groza goes to Pinegar, and the Ray Guy goes to Aaron Jones from Georgia. And then finally, your best returner goes to John Emery Jr., also of LSU. So they picked up a couple of awards right now. See how our guys did this season. Let's take a quick look. John McConnell, 2,900 yards, literally a couple of yards shy, getting 3,000 on the year, 29 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. He was sacked a lot, though, ended up being 15 times, but for the most part, when he was held upright, he did well. On the ground, Derwin again does get that 1,000-yard season, 1,011 yards to be exact, with 23 rushing touchdowns. McConnell has 570. Damon had 139 with 4 touchdowns. We see 3 touchdowns by JoJo Johnson and 2 by Buchner as well. On the receiving side, a lot of guys scored this year. We see Lonnie Downs, 49 grabs, 1,003 yards, 7 touchdowns. Kyron Christensen, 789 yards and 7 touchdowns. Derwin had 7 touchdowns with just under 400. Miller Moody had a little over 500 with 4 touchdowns. Kalen Harris, again, a lot of you guys were mad the senior didn't get as many touches as he probably should have, but still, nearly 500 yards or 3 touchdowns for him. Dawkins with 503. Oliver, this dude, efficiency from catches to touchdowns was incredible. 11 grabs, 177 yards, and 5 touchdowns. That's efficient. From there, we see JoJo Johnson, no receiving touchdowns, but a couple of grabs. Jordan Damon had a touchdown, as did Rubley. A lot of guys scored this season. That means we were getting the ball spread around. Defensively, Jackson Chamberlain had 71 total tackles, 15 of those for a loss, along with 3 sacks. Magwood had 66 with 9 tackles for a loss and 4 sacks overall. But I think what really helped him out, though, was the 2 interceptions that he had this season, which really kind of gave him the edge. From a sack perspective, you see Landon Rawls with 16. I mean, you take the guys we have here, 4 plus 4 is 8. 3 is 11, then you have 14. It would take so many guys just to equal what he did from a production standpoint this year. Our other guys were good, but Landon Rawls was historic. The interception wise, Philip Antonio does have 3 this season. Teddy Edmonds also has 3. You see Jordan Damon with 3. McNeil had 2, as did Hammond and Magwood. Our kicker kicked 2 field goals this year. No one's surprised. From a kick return standpoint, Miller Mooney was okay, as was Jordan Damon, but no one really scored a touchdown there. On the punt return side, 300 yards by Moody, but again, no touchdowns. Maybe someone else takes that spot up, but you know what? He did okay, just not great. We haven't really talked about skill trees either. McMurvin has been filling his up time and time again. He's now level 15. We've gotten our scouting maxed out. We have royal treatment, the openers, the 2 out of 3, the closers, 3 out of 3. We have kitchen sink, 1 out of 3, and we have letter of intent at 2 out of 3. We are making incredible progress, but we've only really put one thing into the actual all the field attributes, and that's just antifreeze. Eventually we'll move to there, but got to get the right players before we really start putting our points in that area. For our defensive coordinator, Deacon Wright, we've got road close, we've got charge, we've got shutdown, and we have no fly zone. Again, things that are really helping us out for sure. On offense, we're going to see that our guy has up tempo. We've also got cannon, air traffic control, and daylight. Again, these guys aren't leveled up super high, but they're helping us get the job done. We just got to keep them in the off season. So in our first year, we went 5-7, and things were a little bit tough. And then in 2014, we picked up and we went 10-3. Getting better. Now, Texas State hired Stu Pitts. So we've got to go find an offensive coordinator. Oh no. So while we were able to keep Deacon Wright, we couldn't keep Stu Pitts. So now we have Mark Carney. This guy is gonna be interesting. We'll figure it out. Now, from a players leaving standpoint, we're seeing one guy actually leave us because he wants to leave us. That is going to be Mark Murphy, who's kind of mad that we basically benched him and he wants to go somewhere else. That's fine, because if you look at his stats, he's not necessarily that great. 93 speed, fantastic, but acceleration at 83, catching it at 62. I'm willing to let him go because we've got some other guys coming in that will probably be better than him pretty soon. Outside of that, Gamble Monroe, Tommy Reed Jr., Ty Hammond, Antonio Magwood, Dino Montgomery, Landon Rawls, Teddy Edmonds, Tyrese Davis Jr., and Isaac Vaca, along with so many more, are going to be leaving because it's graduation time. Again, we had a lot of seniors, and that's why I'm scared for next season. A lot of our top talent is now gone. Now I'm shocked and appalled. No one from our team got drafted. How dare you? Maybe they'll sign as free agents. You should have drafted Teddy Edmonds, though, you cowards. Transfer requests as well, we literally had none. We had one last year, and we think that guy will be good as he comes in to finally play this season, but nobody wants to come to the best university in all of NCAA now. Imagine. So we find ourselves heading to signing day, and this is going to be an interesting one. Some of the guys that we offered a scholarship to everybody, but Jonathan Davis didn't sign despite him being sort of not a high overall. He had potential. Kerry Mitchell, a quarterback that we saw a lot of potential with, that we offered a scholarship to, didn't sign. We lost out on Jeremy Bell, an outside linebacker, as well as James Neal, a very good corner that had really high upside. We also lost out on Mike Walker, a receiver that I thought had tons of potential, as we did Eric Doucette, who also went to Miami of Ohio. We did get a really good athlete in Seth Sanders, who could play a variety of positions for us. Excited about him. We lost on a tight end that I thought we had all the opportunity for, Mr. Khalid Moss. A really talented middle linebacker goes to UTSA, as does Adam Cox goes to Central Michigan. Georgia Southern takes Mike Patton. Lawrence Walker, another talented quarterback prospect, goes to Kansas University. So we end up getting Tim Wade, who I thought we'd get, the number 2 athlete in the nation. Austin Houston, a great corner. We lose out on Kelly Smith, a defensive end, but we get Jared Gold, the number 3 athlete of the nation. So not only did we get the number 2 athlete of the nation, we got the number 3 athlete of the nation too. So I feel pretty good. David Jones as well we bring in, but we didn't get the maybe depth to this class that I thought we might have gotten. But you know what? We did what we could. We did what we could. Now remember, we recruited a lot of athletes here. We've got Jared Gold, Tim Wade, Clayton McFadden, Seth Sanders, and Matt Whitaker. We got to figure out where the role's only going to play. Jared Gold can't play quarterback. He's possible on top ratings of 79. And really, we looked at halfback, we looked at fullback, we looked at wide receiver. I I know wide receiver is probably his go-to, but we need a tight end, and I think he might be that guy. Tim Wayne's an interesting one. 6'5", 229 pounds. He could be an okay receiver, but he's got 89 speed, 82 acceleration. I think defense might be where we ultimately need him the most. We could put him at free safety, but we have an 80 overall in Bastion Kirk that'll be sitting above him, so we'd be wasting his potential there. I think we'll try him as strong safety. He could still potentially play a little bit of offense for us, but for now, I want to see how he does on defense. Clayton McFadden is the guy I'm probably the most excited about this year. 5'11", 186, not a very big dude, but he's fast. 92 speed, 93 acceleration, very high agility at 92. We have a lot of spots for him. Can't play quarterback, could play running back, but we obviously have a monster there, so he'd be sitting 2 seasons behind Marvin Derwin. Fullback, no. Wide receiver, this is a spot for him. He could get, honestly, playing time year 1, which is huge. Seth Sanders is another guy that I'm really excited about. 82 speed, though. Not super fast. Yes, he could play halfback, but doesn't really make a lot of sense. Wide receiver, no. Not a lot of other spots that really make sense. But he's a 73 overall quarterback. Do I think he plays? Probably not really. But with a guy that gets hurt at quarterback a lot, I need an insurance policy, and this is our guy. And lastly, we have Matt Whitaker. Again, kind of a tweener, could play a couple of different spots. Isn't really going to be suited very well for offense. I don't really want to put him in wide receiver and be so far down the depth chart. As we sort of cycle through, linebacker, it's kind of okay. I want to try him at maybe corner. It's 6'6" overall there. Oh, we could actually play free safety. He'll be on the bench, but honestly, we'll give him an opportunity. Maybe he plays, maybe get some sub packages. For now, that's where he's going to be. Our guys have trained all off season, though, to try to be a better team. We know we have a lot of big holes to fill, and let's see how these guys net out. John McConnell has a pretty good jump up to +4 to make him an 80 overall, but Rocco Green, the redshirt junior, is now at 77 and only a couple of spots behind him. Halfback JoJo Johnson, now a senior, is up to a 90 overall, but will he be able to take away playing time from that guy right there? Marvin Derwin, who goes up 6 as well to a 78 for his junior season. Fullback Dylan Bowers goes up +5 to a 72. At wide receiver, a lot of major upgrades here. 84 overall for Lonnie Downs and a +5. No speed upgrades for him, unfortunately. Romello Dawkins now to an 84 as well with a +5 and a speed upgrade. Miller Moody to an 82 with a +2 to speed. Mike Oliver, again, now a senior, +3 with no speed up or being touched. And then Trey Swain, the 6'6", 221-pound beast, is now a 68 overall with 90 speed overall. So he's got a lot of work to be done, but maybe we find a way to get him on the field this year. At tight end, we're going to see Donovan Rubley go up to an 84, as well as Elijah Turner go up to a 77. At left tackle, now an 87 overall for Cameron French. We're going to see Arroyo go up to a 79 and Ringley up to a 73. Left guard, some good adjustments here as well. Shannon Smith is now an 83 overall as a sophomore. Cook is a 79, Reed is a 78, and Kemp is going to be a 76. At center, Mason Franks is a monster. One of our best offensive linemen of the team, and now an 87 overall with a +7 upgrade. Murphy gets up +6, and we're going to see Sims as well go up +5. At right guard, Terry Harvey is an 83. You're going to see at right tackle, Mr. Austin Cooper is now a 76 overall. Left end, we're going to see Stroop go to an 82. McCree behind him is a 74. At right end, Jacob Brown's a 77 overall for his senior season, and Noah Anderson is now going to be a 76. So those guys should be neck and neck fighting out for playing time. On the defensive line, though, for the front, you're going to see at the defensive tackle spot, Thomas Carroll's an 87. He had a great season, coming on very well, very strong for us at the end of the year, so I love that. Caps is a 74, see Oliver's a 71, and then Patterson, the redshirt freshman, is a 70. At left outside linebacker, again, we're known for our linebackers. You're going to have Makai Reeves, the junior, now at 82 overall. Anthony at a 79 behind him, and they're going to see a 77 Eli Oliver. The one thing to point about Makai Reeves, though, he's a 90 speed guy with 91 acceleration. He should be flying all over the field and be fantastic in coverage. Middle linebacker Tommy Eichenberg, who we mistakenly thought would play last season, the transfer is now eligible to play this year and gets +4 overall to be an 84. Hatley behind him, the junior redshirt, is a 78. Then we see Josh Cole, the redshirt freshman, is a 71. An outside linebacker on the right side, we're going to see Jacoby Walters, the junior, now at a 76, as well as Anthony Estes, the senior, at a 74. Corner Jordan Damon, again, the guy we're expecting to keep number 8 this season. He's going to be an 86 overall. Philip Antonio is an 81. Chase McNeil's will be a 78, and then John Hall will be a 74. Free safety Bastion Kirk jumps up significantly more, +5 now to make him an 85 overall. Doug Hall behind him, the redshirt freshman, a 75. Strong safety Garner Conley is now a 78, going up +4. Ray Walton goes up to a 77 at +5, meaning he may challenge him to play this year because he's 6'4". One overall rating may not be that big of a deal considering he's a little bit faster from an acceleration standpoint. And then Josh Powers, the redshirt freshman, is now a 69. Our kicker is a little bit better than trash, but he's still trash at a 68 overall, and our punter is a 78 now. The beauty of where our team is, though, is that from a roster cutting standpoint, we don't actually have to cut anyone. We're at 69 out of 70. We had 7 scholarships that did not get filled this season, so we don't actually have to remove anyone from our team. We can just keep it moving. Now, something to point out, Mark Carney is the new offensive coordinator that we brought in. We'll see if he changes up our playbook at all, but right now he's at up tempo at 2 out of 3. He's also got ball security at a 2 out of 3, and he has cannon at a 1 out of 3. So we're losing a little bit because I believe Stu Pitts was one level a little bit higher, but still there's something to build on here. He's not terrible, but he needs some work too. Now, Conference USA has been trying to beef themselves up a little bit, and they have just brought in the Raging Cajuns from Louisiana to go to the east side of the conference. So things just got a little bit more tough because now we have not 1 but 2 ranked teams in our conference. Going through and looking at our redshirted players this season, we're going to be redshirting 3 quarterbacks: Seth Sanders, Mike Kendrick, and Terrell McDowell. I don't know if McDowell or maybe even Kendrick makes the team next season, but we have some depth. We'll redshirt a couple of these guys and hope that we just need McConnell and maybe Green to spell him here and there. At halfback, we're going to be redshirting Gavin Hall because, again, we have 2 capable guys, more than capable guys in front of him. Wide receiver is going to see 2 red shirts. Robert Roth and both Brett Reed will both be getting redshirted. I didn't want to really redshirt either one of these guys, but look, we've got some guys that are way better ahead of them. Give them time, save their eligibility, and they'll be fine. Tight end, a lot of movement here. Jared Gold, who I do not want to redshirt. He's a monster, but we've got to give him time to develop in the tight end side of things. We have a senior and a junior in front of him. He'll get way more playing time next season and be better off. And we're also going to be redshirting Joe Thompson, who has a long way to go. The only person being redshirted on the offensive line is going to be Xavier Mason. He's going to be a freshman coming in against a sophomore redshirt. Needs a little bit of time. He's barely a little bit lower, but next season, the year after, maybe he changes to a different side of the line and maybe fills in there. We'll figure it out. The left end, Ken Manson, makes a lot of sense. A senior and sophomore redshirt ahead of him that are way better. He's got to be redshirted. Same thing going for David Jones. 66 overall. You're a freshman, 2 seniors ahead of you. Don't worry, next season, you got a good chance to start. At middle linebacker, again, there's a logjam of upperclassmen. Lance Mason, you're the odd guy out with the red shirt. At corner, we have 5 really good guys ahead of him, so Jeremy Gross will be redshirted this season. Possibly could come out if there's an injury, but I want to make sure that we keep his eligibility for long term. We're also going to be redshirting Matt Whitaker and Nick Robertson on the free safety side, and a strong safety, Tim Wade. Again, I don't want to redshirt him, but I need this guy in the future. Maybe he moves to a different position next season, but for now, we'll save his eligibility, and we'll figure that out as he hopefully gets better. Giving you a look at our schedule this season, very important. We have a home opener against Maryland, the top 25 ranked Maryland, to try to state our case that we should also be in the top 25. It's going to be a home game. It should be great. We have Western Kentucky, UTEP, and UTSA, which are all conference games that we can't really adjust. After that, a rematch against Auburn, who we all know beat us last year in dramatic fashion. After them, it's going to be Louisiana Tech at home, away at Old Dominion. We're going to be playing at home against Charlotte, away at Louisiana, again, a ranked team potentially. Marshall will be going up against at home, away to Florida Atlantic, and then Mid-Tennessee State. Yeah, we're playing them at home. Our conference champions from last season, we got to make sure we beat them this season. There's a lot of work to be done this year and a lot of upperclassmen that are now gone, which means the younger guys have got to step up. Can they do it? Can we replicate the success? Can we win double-digit games in our 3rd year yet again? It'll be tough. It'll be a challenge, but it's one that I'm excited to see play out. Be safe, be smart, tell somebody you love them. Catch you guys in the next one.